without duplication. Sometimes. Okay, are we ready? So we wish to release a small statement regarding the state of affairs here and some of the things we are doing with respect to preparations for combating the COVID-19. I wish to start. The county government of Nakuru is happy with the restrictions placed by the national government on travel from the major counties that have been affected by COVID-19. The move is aimed at reducing movement of persons from areas of high risk and thereby cushioning rural populations. We shall partner with the security agencies to patrol our entry points and ensure that only vetted categories are allowed. And I think at this stage we would want to say that the allowed categories are very specific. It's about food, emergency supplies, including health, and any other category that is necessary for the survival of the populations during this particular time. And as a county, we will invest in adding patrol vehicles in those particular areas to ensure compliance with the directive by the head of state. We shall also partner with neighboring counties like Nyandarua and Narok, because our county is also a frontier county to the western part of the country, and the entry could be through directly Nakuru, through Narok, and also through Nyandarua. So we'll be working closely with these two counties to ensure that even their borders are properly manned and that there's no infiltration of persons who do not fit this description. Allow me further to state that the impact of COVID-19 in counties continues to be felt through reduced economic activities and dwindling revenue sources. The month of March is very critical in the county revenues, as most organizations pay their licenses in the first quarter. Nakuru in particular is the home of SMEs, or small business enterprises, and in the whole of Kenya, we are the biggest in terms of the catchment for SMEs. And consequently, this is the category that has been most affected by this closure. With the closure of many businesses and a dramatic decline in returns, many are unable to keep afloat with their obligations, including payment of licenses and other obligations to the county. The county has an obligation to listen to these business concerns, and hence we will be adjusting our budgets to reflect this financial reality. The drop in revenue will reflect in reduced implementation of budgeted projects. In Nakuru, for example, we expect that the drop will hit about 800 million shillings. Because counties have to operate and offer essential services, it is important for residents who are financially able to honor their obligations in order to cushion the vulnerable segments of the society. Escalating health costs and protection of vulnerable groups will have a heavy load on counties, and therefore we must all act together to overcome this situation. So in short, what we are simply trying to say is that for businesses that are not adversely or directly affected by the COVID situation, our plea to them would be to ask that by paying your obligations to the county, you're also helping the county to meet its obligation with respect to healthcare provision and other areas, including support for vulnerable members of the society. We also wish to note that despite concerted efforts by the government in the fight on COVID-19, there is a glaring gap in appreciation of these measures by a segment of the population. We must all invest in behavior change, because behavior change is essential for us to combat COVID-19. The tendency by a section of us to use the poor state of the economy as a justification for non-compliance must be discouraged at all costs. The burden of disease will have far more devastating consequences on poor nations than on rich nations. As evidenced in the USA, areas with poor social and health infrastructure will bear a heavier burden than the affluent neighborhoods with better healthcare infrastructure. As a result of these findings, we wish to urge persons from all segments, and especially we are saying this because sometimes when you've taken very drastic actions, people have felt that it is cruel and targeting some of the vulnerable groups. But I think it's good to note that we are doing it for their best interests. Lastly, we wish to note that the County Emergency Response Team is conducting a baseline survey across the entire county to identify areas deserving urgent humanitarian support. We are also in the process of setting up a command center so that all activities aimed at combating COVID-19, from information to enforcing the regulations set up by the government, national government for that matter, to humanitarian support, will all be done under one arm so that there is no duplication. This